Introduction to Speechwriting. Speechwriting is the art of crafting messages intended for oral delivery, designed to inform, persuade, entertain, or inspire an audience. It requires the deep understanding of rhetoric, psychology, and linguistic precision to effectively connect with listeners. A well-written speech can move individuals, shape public opinion, and even influence historical events. This foundational module introduces the core principles and historical significance of speechwriting, setting the stage for more advanced techniques. It emphasizes the unique challenges and opportunities presented by the spoken word compared to written communication. Understanding the nuances of auditory reception is crucial for success in this field. The primary goal of any speech is to achieve a specific objective, whether it's to educate, motivate, or commemorate. Effective speechwriting involves tailoring content, tone, and structure to meet these objectives while resonating with the target audience. It is a dynamic process that blends creativity with strategic thinking. Successful speechwriters are adept at distilling complex ideas into clear, memorable, and impactful statements. This course will equip you with the tools to become such a communicator, capable of crafting speeches that leave a lasting impression. Understanding your audience. Knowing your audience is the cornerstone of effective speechwriting. It dictates everything from your topic selection to your word choice and delivery style. A thorough audience analysis involves identifying demographic information such as age, gender, education level, and occupation. Psychographic data, including beliefs, values, attitudes, and motivations, is equally critical for crafting a resonant message. Understanding their existing knowledge about your topic helps you determine the appropriate level of detail and complexity. Tailoring your speech to their interests and concerns ensures engagement and relevance. Failing to analyze your audience risks alienating listeners or delivering a message that falls flat. Therefore, audience analysis is not merely a preliminary step, but an ongoing consideration throughout the entire writing process. Defining speech purpose. Before writing a single word, clearly defining the speech's purpose is paramount. It serves as the guiding star for all subsequent decisions. The general purposes of speeches typically fall into categories: to inform, to persuade, to entertain, or to commemorate. Informative speeches aim to educate the audience on a particular subject, providing facts and explanations. Persuasive speeches seek to influence the audience's beliefs, attitudes, or actions regarding an issue. Entertaining speeches are designed to amuse and engage listeners, often through humor or storytelling. Commemorative speeches honor individuals, events, or institutions, evoking shared emotions and values. A specific purpose statement, a single declarative sentence, articulates precisely what the speaker wants the audience to know, believe, or do after listening to the speech. This clarity ensures focus and coherence throughout the speechwriting process. Researching your topic. Thorough research forms the backbone of a credible and impactful speech, providing the evidence and examples needed to support your claims. Begin by identifying key themes and arguments related to your specific purpose and audience. Utilize a variety of reliable sources, including academic journals, reputable news outlets, government reports, and expert interviews. Always cross-reference information to ensure accuracy and objectivity, avoiding biased or unsubstantiated claims. Gathering compelling statistics, anecdotes, and expert testimonials will strengthen your message and enhance its persuasive power. Organize your research systematically, perhaps using note cards or digital tools to easily retrieve information during the drafting phase. Remember, the depth and quality of your research directly correlate with the authority and persuasiveness of your speech. Crafting a strong thesis. A strong thesis statement is the central idea of your speech, encapsulating your main argument or message in a single, clear, and concise sentence. It acts as a roadmap for both the speaker and the audience, outlining what the speech will cover and what its ultimate point is. This statement should be debatable or provable, not merely a statement of fact, especially for persuasive speeches. For informative speeches, it clearly states the topic and the specific aspect being explored. The thesis should be placed prominently, usually in the introduction, to immediately orient the audience. Developing a robust thesis requires careful consideration of your purpose, audience, and research findings. It provides focus and ensures that all supporting points contribute directly to the overarching message, preventing the speech from becoming disjointed or unclear. Structuring your speech. Introduction. The introduction is your first opportunity to capture the audience's attention and establish credibility, making it a critical component of any speech. Begin with an attention getter, which could be a compelling anecdote, a surprising statistic, a rhetorical question, or a provocative statement. This hook immediately draws listeners in and makes them eager to hear more. Following the attention getter, establish your credibility by briefly mentioning your expertise or experience related to the topic. Next, clearly state the purpose of your speech and present your thesis statement, providing a clear roadmap for what is to come. Finally, offer a brief preview of your main points, guiding the audience through the speech's structure. A strong introduction sets a positive tone and prepares the audience for the message you are about to deliver. Structuring your speech. Body. The body of your speech is where you develop your main points, providing detailed explanations, evidence, and examples to support your thesis. Organize your main points logically, using a clear organizational pattern that suits your topic and purpose. Common patterns include chronological, for processes or historical events; spatial, for describing places; topical, for breaking down a subject into subtopics; causal, for cause and effect relationships, or problem solution. Each main point should be distinct and clearly articulated, typically supported by 2 or 3 subpoints. Use strong transitions between main points to ensure a smooth flow and help the audience follow your argument. These transitions act as signposts, signaling shifts in thought and reinforcing the speech's structure. The body should systematically build your case, leading the audience towards your intended conclusion. Developing engaging content. Engaging content is vital for maintaining audience attention and ensuring your message resonates long after the speech concludes. Beyond facts and figures, incorporate elements that appeal to emotions and personal experiences. Use vivid language and descriptive imagery to paint pictures in the minds of your listeners, making abstract concepts more tangible. Analogies and metaphors can simplify complex ideas, drawing parallels to familiar experiences. Humor, when appropriate and well executed, can lighten the mood and create a stronger connection with the audience. Personal anecdotes or stories, either your own or those of others, humanize your message and make it more relatable. Varying your content types keeps the audience stimulated and prevents monotony. Remember, an engaged audience is an attentive audience, more likely to absorb and remember your key points. Using rhetorical devices. Rhetorical devices are powerful tools that enhance the persuasiveness, memorability, and impact of your speech. Techniques like anaphora, repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses, create emphasis and rhythm. Alliteration uses the repetition of initial consonant sounds for poetic effect and memorability. Metaphors and similes draw comparisons, making abstract ideas more concrete and relatable. Rhetorical questions engage the audience by prompting thought without expecting a direct answer. Antithesis uses contrasting ideas in a balanced structure to highlight differences and create impact. Parallelism involves using similar grammatical structures to express related ideas, adding clarity and flow. Employing these devices strategically can elevate your speech from merely informative to truly inspiring, leaving a lasting impression on your listeners. They add artistry and power to your spoken words. Incorporating storytelling. Storytelling is an ancient and profoundly effective method for connecting with an audience on an emotional level, making your speech more memorable and impactful. A well-chosen story can illustrate complex points, humanize abstract data, and create empathy. When selecting a story, ensure it is relevant to your message and resonates with your audience's experiences or values. Structure your narrative with a clear beginning, rising action, a climax, and a resolution, just like any good drama. Use vivid descriptions and sensory details to transport your listeners into the story's world. Keep stories concise and focused, avoiding unnecessary tangents that might distract from your main point. Personal anecdotes, historical accounts, or even fictional parables can all serve to enhance engagement. By weaving compelling narratives into your speech, you transform information into an experience, fostering a deeper connection and ensuring your message endures. Mastering language and style is crucial for crafting speeches that are not only clear but also compelling and elegant. Choose words that are precise, impactful, and appropriate for your audience and occasion. Avoid jargon or overly academic language unless you are certain your audience understands it. Strive for clarity and conciseness, eliminating unnecessary words or convoluted sentence structures. Vary your sentence length and rhythm to maintain interest and prevent monotony. Employ active voice to make your statements more direct and powerful. The tone of your speech should align with its purpose and the emotional context of the event. Whether formal or informal, serious or humorous, consistency in tone enhances your message's credibility. Polished language and a distinctive style elevate your speech from ordinary to extraordinary, leaving a lasting impression on your listeners. Varying sentence structure. Varying sentence structure is a key technique for maintaining audience engagement and enhancing the rhythm and flow of your speech. A monotonous string of similarly structured sentences can quickly bore listeners, regardless of the content. Incorporate a mix of short, punchy sentences for emphasis and longer, more complex sentences for detailed explanations or descriptive passages. Begin sentences in different ways, avoiding repetitive starts to keep the audience guessing and interested. Use rhetorical questions, inversions, and periodic sentences to add dramatic effect and build anticipation. This variation creates a natural cadence, making your speech more pleasing to the ear and easier to follow. It also allows you to control the pace and intensity of your message, guiding the audience through different emotional and intellectual states. Strategic sentence variation is a hallmark of compelling oral communication. The power of word choice. The careful selection of individual words holds immense power in shaping your speech's impact, tone, and clarity. Diction or word choice can evoke specific emotions, create vivid imagery, and convey precise meanings. Opt for strong, active verbs and concrete nouns over vague language and passive constructions. Avoid cliches and overused phrases, instead seeking fresh and original expressions that capture attention. Consider the connotations of words, the emotional associations they carry, in addition to their denotations, literal meanings. Words like brave and courageous might have similar denotations but different connotations. Tailor your vocabulary to your audience's understanding, ensuring your message is accessible without being simplistic. Precise and evocative word choice elevates your speech, making it more memorable, persuasive, and impactful. It is the brushstroke that adds detail and depth to your rhetorical canvas. Writing for the ear. Writing for the ear is fundamentally different from writing for the eye, requiring a distinct approach to composition. Spoken language needs to be immediately understandable, as listeners cannot reread a sentence or pause to ponder its meaning. This necessitates shorter sentences, simpler vocabulary, and more direct phrasing than might be acceptable in written text. Use contractions and conversational language to create a more natural and relatable tone. Employ repetition strategically, not just for rhetorical effect, but also to reinforce key ideas as listeners process information sequentially. Incorporate pauses and vocal cues into your writing by using punctuation that guides delivery, such as commas for short pauses and periods for longer ones. Read your speech aloud multiple times during the drafting process to catch awkward phrasing or overly complex sentences. A speech written for the ear flows effortlessly, making it easy for the audience to absorb and retain your message. Handling sensitive topics. Addressing sensitive topics in a speech requires extreme care, empathy, and strategic communication to avoid causing offense or alienating your audience. Begin by conducting thorough research to ensure accuracy and a nuanced understanding of the subject matter. Acknowledge the diverse perspectives and potential emotional responses your audience may have, demonstrating respect and sensitivity. Use inclusive language and avoid generalizations or stereotypes that could marginalize any group. Frame your message constructively, focusing on solutions, understanding, or healing, rather than blame or division. Employ a calm, measured, and empathetic tone throughout your speech, even when discussing difficult truths. Be prepared for potential questions or strong reactions from the audience, and have a plan for addressing them respectfully. The goal is to inform or persuade while fostering dialogue and understanding, not to provoke or alienate. Thoughtful preparation is paramount. Integrating visual aids. Integrating visual aids effectively can significantly enhance your speech by clarifying complex information, reinforcing key points, and increasing audience engagement. Visual aids include slides, charts, graphs, images, videos, and physical objects. When choosing visual aids, ensure they are directly relevant to your message and add value, rather than merely duplicating what you say. Design your visuals for clarity and simplicity, avoiding cluttered slides or excessive text. Use high-quality images and legible fonts to ensure professionalism. Practice incorporating your visual aids seamlessly into your delivery, knowing when to advance slides or reference specific elements. Explain each visual aid briefly, highlighting its significance to your argument. Remember, visual aids are meant to support your speech, not replace it. You remain the primary focus. Thoughtful integration of visuals can make your presentation more dynamic and memorable, helping your audience grasp and retain information more effectively. Rehearsal and delivery notes. Thorough rehearsal is indispensable for a confident and impactful speech delivery, transforming your written words into a compelling oral performance. Practice your speech aloud multiple times, ideally in front of a mirror or a small group, to identify awkward phrasing or areas needing improvement. Focus not just on memorization, but on internalizing the flow and meaning of your message. Pay attention to your vocal variety, including pitch, pace, and volume, to add emphasis and emotion. Practice your body language, gestures, and eye contact to convey confidence and connect with your audience. Create concise delivery notes, using keywords or phrases rather than full sentences, to guide you during the actual speech without reading verbatim. These notes should be easy to glance at, allowing you to maintain eye contact. Rehearsal builds muscle memory and reduces anxiety, enabling you to deliver your speech naturally and powerfully. It ensures your hard work in writing translates into an effective presentation. Speech types: informative. Informative speeches aim to educate the audience by providing new knowledge, clarifying complex concepts, or demonstrating how something works. The primary goal is to enhance understanding, not to persuade or entertain. When crafting an informative speech, prioritize clarity, accuracy, and objectivity. Use clear definitions, examples, analogies, and visual aids to make your information accessible and engaging. Organize your content logically, perhaps chronologically for a process, or topically for a concept, ensuring a smooth flow of information. Avoid jargon or technical terms without clear explanations. The tone should be authoritative yet approachable, positioning you as a knowledgeable guide. Effective informative speeches leave the audience feeling more enlightened and capable of understanding the subject matter. They empower listeners with knowledge, fostering intellectual growth and curiosity. This type of speech is foundational in educational and professional settings. Speech types: persuasive. Persuasive speeches are designed to influence the audience's beliefs, attitudes, values, or actions, aiming to convince them to adopt a particular viewpoint or take a specific course of action. This type of speech relies heavily on logical reasoning, logos, emotional appeal, pathos, and the speaker's credibility, ethos. When writing a persuasive speech, clearly state your position and support it with strong evidence, statistics, and expert testimony. Anticipate counterarguments and address them proactively to strengthen your case. Use vivid language and storytelling to evoke emotions that align with your message, but avoid manipulation. Establish your credibility early by demonstrating expertise and trustworthiness. Structure your arguments logically, often using a problem-solution or Monroe's motivated sequence pattern. A successful persuasive speech not only presents a compelling argument, but also inspires the audience to change their minds or act upon the call to action. It is a powerful tool for advocacy and change. Speech types: ceremonial. Ceremonial speeches are delivered on special occasions to honor, celebrate, or commemorate individuals, events, or institutions. Their primary purpose is to evoke shared emotions, reinforce community values, and create a sense of unity. Examples include toasts, eulogies, acceptance speeches, commencement addresses, and dedications. When crafting a ceremonial speech, the tone is paramount. It should be appropriate for the occasion, often celebratory, solemn, or inspiring. Focus on storytelling and vivid descriptions that highlight the significance of the person or event being honored. Use elegant and evocative language, avoiding humor that might be inappropriate for the context. Keep these speeches relatively concise, as their impact often comes from their emotional resonance rather than extensive information. The goal is to create a memorable and heartfelt tribute that resonates deeply with the audience. A well-delivered ceremonial speech can solidify bonds and create lasting memories. Editing and refining your speech. Editing and refining are crucial steps in transforming a draft into a polished, impactful speech. After completing your initial draft, step away from it for a period to gain fresh perspective. Then, review for clarity, conciseness, and coherence, ensuring every sentence contributes to your main message. Eliminate jargon, cliches, and redundant phrases. Check for grammatical errors, spelling mistakes, and punctuation issues, as these can undermine your credibility. Read your speech aloud to identify awkward phrasing, unnatural rhythms, or areas where the flow is interrupted. Pay attention to transitions between points, ensuring they are smooth and logical. Seek feedback from trusted peers or mentors, as an external perspective can highlight areas you might have overlooked. Be open to constructive criticism and willing to revise extensively. The goal is to hone your message until it is as sharp, clear, and compelling as possible, ready for delivery. This iterative process ensures maximum impact. Seeking and applying feedback. Seeking and applying feedback is an invaluable part of the speechwriting process, offering external perspectives that can significantly strengthen your message. After drafting and initial self-editing, share your speech with trusted individuals, such as colleagues, mentors, or a practice audience. Clearly articulate the type of feedback you are seeking, whether it's on clarity, persuasiveness, emotional impact, or specific sections. Listen actively and openly to their comments, avoiding defensiveness. Pay attention to both verbal and non-verbal cues during their critique. Categorize the feedback, identifying recurring themes or particularly insightful suggestions. Not all feedback needs to be incorporated, but every piece should be considered thoughtfully. Prioritize revisions that address major structural issues or enhance the speech's core purpose. Applying feedback demonstrates a commitment to excellence and helps you refine your speech to resonate more effectively with a broader audience. It is a collaborative approach to achieving rhetorical mastery. Ethical considerations in speechwriting. Ethical considerations are paramount in speechwriting, guiding the responsible and honest use of language and information. Always prioritize truthfulness and accuracy, ensuring that all facts, statistics, and claims are verifiable and presented without distortion. Avoid plagiarism by properly attributing sources for quotes, ideas, and data, even in an oral context. Do not intentionally mislead or manipulate your audience through emotional appeals that lack factual basis or by omitting crucial information. Respect diverse perspectives and avoid language that is discriminatory, hateful, or promotes stereotypes. Consider the potential impact of your words on all members of your audience and society at large. Uphold the principles of fairness, integrity, and transparency in all your communications. An ethical speech builds trust and enhances your credibility, while unethical practices can severely damage your reputation and undermine the power of your message. Responsible speechwriting is a cornerstone of effective and respected communication. The future of speechwriting. The future of speechwriting is dynamic, shaped by evolving technologies, changing communication platforms, and shifting audience expectations. Artificial intelligence tools are increasingly assisting with research, content generation, and even stylistic analysis, offering new efficiencies and creative possibilities. However, the human element of empathy, nuance, and authentic connection remains irreplaceable. Speechwriters will need to adapt to new delivery formats, including virtual presentations, podcasts, and short-form video content, each with its unique demands. The ability to craft compelling narratives that transcend cultural and linguistic barriers will become even more crucial in an interconnected world. Emphasis on data-driven insights for audience analysis will continue to grow, allowing for even more personalized and impactful messages. Ultimately, while tools and platforms may change, the fundamental principles of clear, persuasive, and ethical communication will endure, ensuring the continued relevance of skilled speechwriters. The human voice, amplified by thoughtful writing, will always be powerful.